This is my little grill right here.
Whoa, you got to saddle her up and everything. You gotta hate to sell it, don't you?
I do hate to sell it, but can't afford to feed her right now, so.
This drought's been going on for 20 to 30 years and could run another 20 or 30. The world's top scientists aren't certain what's just around the bend except for this. Human activity is cooking the Great Plains and Southwest. We're sitting in the garden spot of the world in Iowa, and it made me wonder, how are they coping in the Great Plains and in the Southwest? Then we wanted to go out to the West Coast and see how people perceived the drought there. Everybody thinks they're going to be the last man standing. And in fact, that person, we found him, and his name is Gene Jackson. He's a 19-year-old cattle producer, and he's standing out there against the wind and the heat and the drought, and he's determined to make it.
Oh, we run about 150 pair, and that's a pretty good guesstimate for everybody.
Are there many people getting out because of drought?
Drought definitely is helping cause it, and then the lack of water. There's a lot of fields down south end of the valley that haven't been farmed for about 5 years because there hasn't been water for them.
You're getting about half as much rain as you were. What's that do to your grazing?
You have to run more acres, and it's getting real hard to find pasture for the cattle. I know a lot of people have sold out in the last couple of years because they can't find a place to run their cattle. Just because poor pasture is not enough water, and then there's more people moving in and putting up houses. And
can you imagine yourself ever doing anything but this?
No, sir.
So then we crossed the Rocky Mountains. It was pretty stunning to us to drive through there, and we made it to Huntington Beach. We met Chris Myers, who he grew up surfing there back in the 70s, 50 years ago, before it was all poured over in concrete.
I saw the stuff grow up, basically.
Yeah.
You know, I saw freeways going, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
This is a surf shop. You go, that's where I bought my board. Years ago I bought a board there, okay. A lot of these beach communities were having problems with big waves and high surf, high tides, and damaging homes and stuff.
How long has that been going on?
It's been worse in the last probably 10 to 20 years, I think. So the drought has been going on for 30 years. There's called a bark beetle infestation. That's been going on for, I don't know, the last 20, 30 years. The whole forest is just, it's like brown. We got another storm coming this week. This is the most rain I can ever remember my whole life here.
Really?
Oh yeah. There's too much water, and there's mudslides, and when it's dry there's fires, and you know, it's just this cycle keeps repeating. But this is...
How tired of it do they have to get?
To leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's close to leaving. The
Colorado River that slakes Phoenix and Las Vegas is running full from a series of 14 atmospheric river bombs that laid destruction up and down the Pacific coast. You can see the banks are full. We were just driving through blizzards a couple days ago. This small river is feeding Phoenix and Las Vegas, all of the Southwest. It's feeding alfalfa fields, which we're going to go look at right now. They're growing alfalfa, which is a very water-intensive crop. This shows the competing interest for that water. Not only are people demanding the water, but also livestock are demanding this water in the form of alfalfa. Now we just pointed the camera on the other side of the road. Here's what they're growing. This is what you can see the soil looks like here. This is the desert. It's just nuts to me. So we talked to Dan O'Brien, a ag economist at Kansas State, and he sort of illustrates how we get locked into these ag supply chains that are kind of inviolable. Would you say that the drought's been most severe the last 3 years?
Yes, in this cycle. There was a similar cycle from 2000 to 2004 when, again, crop yields, you were happy during that earlier period to get into the 20s and 30 bushel per acre. Farmers, absent a financial crisis forcing them out through dealing with financial institution or whatever, absent that or death, they tend to roll over and keep going. with what they have. They have investments on the line, and year by year they keep going. At retirement, generations make a decision to go forth or not. The trend certainly is towards increased consolidation. The better capitalized operations tend to survive the downturns better. Here in this part of the world, we've had states that have sued states.
Yeah.
Kansas sued Colorado, sued Nebraska about flows in the Platte River and the Republican River.
Got to find the right path. Here we are in Arapahoe, Nebraska. Just came from Kansas, and here we are on the Republican River, and this is, when these banks should be full. There are many interests competing for this low flow of water right here, and you can see how limited the supply is. A couple of themes strike me through the trip, and that is that we all think we're going to be the last man standing, whether it's Gene Jackson or Chris Myers or myself. I think I'm going to be the last man standing in the community newspaper industry. And the other thing is inertia, that we have built this system that kind of feeds on itself of, whether it's corn production or oil production, it's a law of physics. And somehow you've got to break the inertia to get us to recognize that we just can't continue building on the beach, and we can't continue to grow corn indiscriminately in Iowa, and we probably shouldn't be growing it at all in Kansas. But all our systems are built around the fact that you must, and if we don't do things differently, we won't have food.
Few people are more intimate with their environment than Gene Jackson. He describes how Jackie is better than a horse for moving cattle around rocky, steep terrain. We didn't hang around to see how she sold. We were off to get some more of that gas at the next filling station just beyond that horizon. And another plastic bottle of water is purchased because it's a long ride out there and it sure is dry. You pay for it. As the mural warns, on the abandoned motel on a highway off the beaten path of interstate freeways packed with campers and 18-wheelers, the American rent is due. There's no avoiding it.